Thanks for joining us once again for your update from the city of New Hope. Time to chat with the mayor, Kathi Hemken. Welcome again, Mayor. How are you on this fine day?
Hi, Dave. Yep, it is a fine day. And can you believe it's almost state fair time?
It is hard to believe, but we'll have some people heading down to St. Paul, that area soon here. Let's talk about some of the things happening in the city of New Hope. We begin with some work on the roads. Mill and overlay project on Bass Lake Road. A few people might have been stuck by a few cones and closures, but it sounds like things went very well. Tell us more about that.
It did. Well, Hennepin County finished with the ADA improvements that they were doing, the ramps and the curbs and all that. So now this coming week or next week, they'll do a mill and overlay, which of course will slow down the traffic. They won't close the street. What they do is they block off 2 lanes, so it's 1 lane each way. That's from Louisiana to Gettysburg. So expect a little bit of delay when you're coming through that area, and try to avoid it if you can. It'd be a lot easier for you.
Yep, makes sense. All right, let's head to community development. A lot happening here as always. The first is the Rave Awards. We talked quite a bit about them, and now we have some recognition going to take place here, or I believe taking place maybe tonight as we're recording this.
On Monday night, they will be getting their rocks. They get a big rock that's engraved with the Rave Award on it. Some of the awards go to outside maintenance, outside things that they do, and internal things. So there were 5 winners this year, and there's 3 judges that go out with the staff, and they judge these and they pick the 5 winners. But everybody that submitted, thank you very much, because they were just beautiful. It's amazing what you can do in your yard.
Fantastic. All right. Community development also working on a big event coming up towards the end of September that has to do with golf at your fine golf course, which we see behind you. Tell us more about that special event.
So Crystal, New Hope, and the Chamber of Commerce get together, and they have a golf tournament. This is their 25th year of having that. It's on the 23rd of September. There's a noon or 12:30 shotgun start. It fills up pretty quickly. Typically, there's 70 to 75 golfers out there, which is really quite a lot for that course, but it does fill up. But if people want to sponsor a hole or have a sign out on a hole, they can always call City Hall and tell them they want to talk to somebody about the golf tournament, and they'll get them to the right person.
Fantastic. And the website, if you need to stop by the city's website, newhopemn.gov. Let's now talk a little bit more about the roads and some work around some of the properties. And this first property we're going to talk about is the Shell gas station at Winnetka and Bass Lake Road. On this specific property, it looked like some work was underway, but maybe not underway now. Give us the latest on that property.
This is really kind of a sad story. So they were renovating. They got all the permits to do that. They started the renovation, and then it just stopped. And it's been long enough now that their permits have all expired. So of course they have to remove the dumpster. They have to remove all the storage they're doing outside. And they also have to take down or cover up the plywood that's covering the front, because that's not an acceptable siding to do. We don't have any information on what's going to happen to that, if he's going to reapply and finish the work, or we just don't know anything at all. So we do know, though, that there's been a lot of crime in that area, and we want to stop that. So we've got to get that stuff out of there so it doesn't look like a construction zone, but don't know what's happening.
All right. Dakota pasta growers, we've been talking about this process going on with some noise coming from that building area. Give us an update of how that progress is going ahead.
So they're making pasta there, a lot of pasta. And when you make pasta, you have exhaust fans, and exhaust fans are noisy. And so the neighbors, of course, weren't real happy with that. And we met with them, and they got they were going to put up some fencing and some acoustical mats to calm that noise down. In the meantime, there were a couple incidences with really loud noises. So back out we go. I'm not really sure what caused that, but they've been working with Dakota Pasta so that they can identify what caused that, and maybe they could get to it before it actually happened again. So something is happening, and they're doing a lot of stuff on the roof to try to keep that noise down for the neighbors.
Very good. Scattered site housing, a couple updates to pass along here. The first is 42nd and Boone. That property, formerly the Treehouse, looks like activity will continue moving ahead there.
They will. So we've sent out a request for bids for demolition, and those are going to be coming back the 1st of September. And when they come back, then what we'll do is review the bids, and we'll pick a company to do the demolition. They'll have to do some hazardous waste abatement. At least they'll go in and make sure they have to cap a well, and then they'll tear down the building, and then they'll do some grading and remove some trees that need to be removed. So that'll be moving along sometime after the 1st of September. In the meantime, on the 23rd of August, the fire department is going to come in and do one more training there. So if you see the fire trucks there, don't be alarmed. They're doing training, and it's a perfect opportunity for them to do that. And we want them to be able to do that before we demolish it.
Makes sense. All right. 52nd in Pennsylvania. It looks like there was a recent tour and amazing finished project to look at there.
Well, that house is being put up by Donna Homes. And typically these developers will invite staff and the council and I in to see the product before it actually closes. Well, it closed last week, and we were able to come in a couple days before that. It's absolutely gorgeous inside. The reason we go in is we want to make sure that they're doing the kind of job that we had expected them to do.
Mhm.
And even though the buyers look at it too, but we want to make sure that we're not hiring a developer that is doing shoddy work. And Donna Homes did a beautiful, beautiful job on that house.
Business Networking Group. Let's give folks again another reminder about the next meeting coming up in early September. When and where?
September 7th at 2 o'clock. I'm sorry, 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. And that's going to be at 9220 Bass Lake Road. It's a free meeting. It's open to everybody that wants to be there. What it is a bunch of business people plus the city. We basically talk about what's going on in their businesses, and you get to kind of highlight your business. That building has changed hands. And so the new owner has invited the Business Networking Group in to look at the changes that they're going to be making in the potential tenants that are going to be in that building.
Building permits and inspections, a couple items to update on here. The first is where there was a recent fire. You've got some more information after the aftermath. Tell us more about that.
We do. A Pheasant run at the Pheasant Ridge. They had a fire a couple months ago, and $724,000 worth of damage. Well, now they've got the permit. They had to go through the insurance companies and all that other stuff. They've got the permit, so they'll actually get started on the work now.
And an inspection recently at an apartment complex, 55th and Zealand. Some interesting finds there.
Some things you just can't make up, and this is one of them. So our inspection department goes in and does rental inspection just to make sure that rental property is being kept up. So they go into that unit, and one of the bedrooms has been turned into a chicken coop. And there's 4 chickens living in the apartment in the extra bedroom. Well, that is not acceptable in an apartment building at all. So they've told the tenant that they have to get rid of the chickens and clean up the chicken coop mess. Animal control is helping them relocate the chickens. I have no idea where you relocate a chicken to, but they know. And, you know, that's one of the things that when we do these rental inspections, a lot of times people just roll their eyes at us and say, why are you doing that? This is the reason they're doing that.
Okay, very good. Let's talk about police department. A few updates to pass along here, and one, a great recent success on the safety camp. You have some thanks to give out as well as just a recap of a fine event again.
I do. So 75 kids, 8 to 10 years old. Some of them have been to safety camp before, some not. This is the 30th year that we've had safety camp. Some of the campers, their parents were at safety camp, which is really kind of fun. So our police department, along with the fire department and a lot of other people, volunteer to help this happen. Well, I've told people about Xfinity paying for the campers this year for all 75 of them, but apparently there's a whole bunch of other people. I'm going to read the list just so I don't skip anybody.
Right.
So financially, we got some money from Jensen, Sondrel, Priscilla, and Woods. That's the people we use for our attorneys. From the New Hope Women of Today, from Stantec Engineering, from Twin West Chamber of Commerce, and the West Metro Fire Department also donated some cash to this.
Great.
So along with that, Frankie's Pizza and the New Hope Lions provide the food for the graduation dinner. And then the other money goes to buy food for the kids and giveaways that they have for the kids and free bike helmets. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful event.
Fantastic.
30 years of it.
All right. Well, thanks to all that helped. And another great event that happened recently with the police department was a officer up on top of a building In the rain? What happened, Mayor?
Well, Dunkin' Donut does this all over, and they put a cop on the rooftop, is what it's called, and they do this fundraiser for the Special Olympics. Well, Saturday morning, if you recall, it rained. So we got the cop on the roof, and it's raining, and there's no place for him to hide. And when people come, he lowers the bucket on a rope. You put your money in the bucket, and he pulls the bucket up. Again, there's no place to hide that bucket. So he collected $700 in that bucket.
Right.
Well, then when the event was over, they took him and the money, the wet money off the roof. They had to lay it all out to get it to dry so they could take it to the bank. So thanks to everybody that showed up for the cop on the roof. I just want to mention, in that particular week, they had 452 police-related calls. So not only are our cops delivering Meals on Wheels, they're being on the roof, they're helping with safety camp. 452 events are going on. So our police department's very busy.
Well, and they're going to even be busier in the future here because there's an opportunity for residents to get out and learn a little bit about the police department through the Police Academy. Give us a preview of how residents can get involved.
Well, we do this with Crystal and Robbinsdale. And so they have until the 13th of September to sign up. And they can either call the non-emergency number at the police department, which is 763-531-5170, and tell them they want to sign up for the Police Academy. That fills up pretty quickly. It's a 7-week program, and they once a week for 7 weeks. They visit the police departments. They learn what the police do. In some cases, they have a ride along. They'll go in the parking lot and in the evening and show them what they do with their handguns. And it's really very, very interesting to do that. Very rewarding for both the police department and the citizens that sign up for that.
Very good. All right, let's move ahead to Public Works. A lot to talk about here as well as the season winds down to get some construction done. The first is the utility bill certification. What is the latest number there?
So it went from 315 down to 277,000. So it is coming down, but I do have some information to correct myself from some prior information I've given you. If they pay before the 17th of October, there's no fee. They just have to pay the bill. From the 18th of October to the 24th of November, the 21st of November, there's a $50 fee plus their bill. After that, it gets put onto their taxes, and with that, they'll pay a 7% interest on that bill. So we really want to get that bill paid down so that they're not paying a whole lot of extra money that they don't have to pay.
Couple other activities going on with Public Works, and a maintenance way would be street sweeping, park trail sweeping, spraying for weeds in the right of way, and washing and cleaning the lift station. Sounds like a busy crew with some probably rather thankless but necessary jobs.
These are our hidden angels. They're out there doing this stuff that nobody else wants to do, by the way. We really love that they sweep the streets and the park trails ahead of time. And of course, they're spraying for weeds. And they were also tagging trees that need to come down. So they're out there doing this, and it's pretty thankless, but I notice and I thank them a lot because we really do appreciate what they're doing.
All right, we've got some pictures to show of some of the street seal coating and fog sealing going on. And again, we've explained a little bit of what that is, but now you'll see it in pictures. So how's the progress coming on those streets, Mayor?
Well, on Boone Avenue, there's two different things. One's a seal coat, and that's where they put the tar down and they put the rocks on top. The rocks kind of settle in, and then they go in and do something called a fog seal, which makes it look all pretty and black. And what it really does is it seals those rocks in. So Boone has gotten that seal coat done, that fog seal now. And so they'll be restriping Boone probably the next week or so. In the other areas where they've done that, have to go back in and they have to regrade where they've disturbed the boulevards. So they regrade that, put in some topsoil, put in the spray mulch that they put down with seeds in it, grass seeds. But people have to water that grass seed or it won't grow. So it just doesn't grow by itself. You got to get out there and water it. So that'll be happening this week sometime.
All right, some of that work you see that have been happening around Independence Avenue. Let's go to Park and Rec and talk about some of the fun things coming up. And we have fall baseball that's about ready to come. What are the needs there?
Well, they scheduled the fall baseball for the lighted field, and pretty much the baseball teams have all formed. They're always looking for volunteers to help coach those teams. And if your child plays in one of those teams and you're a volunteer, you'll get a refund on your child's sign-up fee, if you will.
Excellent.
So they're always getting that ready to do that. Also, I want to tell you that the gymnastics classes, this is the time to sign up for that. You can look in your In Motion. They have gymnastics classes for 3-year-olds. So this is for any age that wants to sign up, but those classes fill up pretty quick. So look in that In Motion for the times and the cost of that. Also, what else are they signing up for?
Well, we wanted to talk a little bit about some gym attendants that, believe it or not, the season's changing here. So you need some people to help out in the gyms as we head into fall.
Well, this is the big gym at Cooper, and they need attendants at that gym. So it's not a full-time job. It's iffy. It comes and goes. It's a good job for college students or high school kids that are over 18 to just get the gym ready for whatever's happening there and then help clean up the gym when they're done. So again, you can call City Hall and tell them, or go online and fill out an application that way.
And another area in the In Motion, and here it is right here with the cute girls on the front of it. So you can look in there for information about the gymnastics. Also, you wanted to mention there's a lot of adult activities in here too, Mayor, for the adults to get involved in.
Oh, there is. So there's trips you can take. There's a defensive driving classes. There's lunches, there's teas, there's painting and barbecues. Just a lot of stuff that's in there, also the kids events that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can look in there. It also has some information on the rental of the park and facilities that they have around town. So use that. If you don't have it anymore, if you threw it away, you can pick up another one at City Hall.
Okay.
Or I'll have some at the farmer's market on Saturdays. I'm there from 9 to 1. I'll have some of those there. You could just pick one up at the farmer's market.
Yeah, great place to go for information. Let's talk about some of the park and rec facilities around town. The first is the ice arena. Busy again as we get towards the winter season here. We still got a ways to go, but the skaters love that ice.
They do love that ice. So we had a big tournament last weekend. That always goes well. Right now they're doing camps for the kids. And then they have the high performance boys and girls teams that come in and they rent that. So they're pretty busy over there. They're going to keep busy. And of course, they're getting ready to schedule the ice time for the fall and winter now too.
And still open skating opportunities. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, those are on Fridays and Sundays. And then also when you're there doing some skating, if you want to bring your skates in, you can get those sharpened up as well. All full service there, right?
Well, so it's Fridays from 6:30 to 8. Sundays from 2 to 4. I believe it's $5, but you can also bring your skates, and it's $5 to have your skates sharpened. I don't know that you need skate sharpening, but apparently if you're a skater, you think you do.
That's right. Makes a difference.
So you can just have that done there.
That's fantastic. Let's head over to the golf course. And how about this history of the golf course? There's been a tournament going on for 41 years. Tell us about this tournament, and they recently were out.
Can you believe that?
That's great.
It's called I'm going to get the name right, 41st Annual Champagne Open Golf Tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So they have, for 41 years, they've been doing this golf tournament. And then afterwards, of course, they use the pavilion in the back. Well, the summer leagues are over now, or they're winding up, and they'll have banquets and picnics for the summer leagues. The fall league registration, it's time to sign up for that if you're going to play in the fall league. There's a lot of open times to golf, but make sure you call and make a tee time to do that. One of the interesting things that's happening on September 24th, they're doing a golf, barbecue, and movie.
Fun.
And I believe it's $25. That gets you a round of golf, a barbecue dinner afterwards, and then they're showing the movie Tin Cup. And the movie will be outside on a big screen over by the putting green that's out there. So bring a blanket or a chair, but you have to sign up for that. You can do that by either calling the golf course directly or calling City Hall, and they'll get you connected to the golf course.
Yeah, fantastic. Matt, what a great event. And again, the website there, if you want to find out about that through that avenue, newhopemn.gov. Mayor, final note here about park and rec facilities. Let's talk about one that sadly is closing for the season, but you've got some great numbers to pass along. Tell us about the Aquatic Park.
I do. It closes in August because we lose our lifeguards. Most of our lifeguards are college kids. They go back to school. And if you don't have lifeguards, you can't have the pool open. So we have to close. And the next thing that's going to happen, they're going to clean out the filters and then they'll empty the water. And that water has to go down the sewer system as opposed to on the lawns because of the chemicals that are in it. So that will happen. But the good news is we had 49,337 visits to the pool this last year.
Wow.
That's about 2,500 more than we had last year. So the pool is doing really, really well. It helped to have a really hot summer, but the kids are just loving the pool. And of course, we'll have it all ready for next year when it opens.
Fantastic. All right. Hats off to all those who worked through the pool this year. And that is it for our update today from the mayor from the city of New Hope. We've got some events coming up that we'll mention just a second that you might want to get on your calendar. Mayor Hemken, thanks again for your time. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Dave. See you then. Bye-bye.
Learn more about the connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.